Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, ever wondered what happened to some of your former players? Let's take a look at every Premier League club and find a player still playing but Christ above in a really obscure place. Arsenal, Alexander Kleb, FC Eintracht Minsk Rayon. Any remember Sanchez Watt? The Hackney-born centre-forward who peaked at 16 bastard years of age? This guy was spending his youth scoring for Arsenal League Cup wins. 11 years later, the man is still in his 20s and playing in the 9th tier of English football with Wellington FC. You know when your club's biggest achievement was producing a 15-second viral clip of a pissed off gremlin? That's when you know your club is tin pot. Well, let's talk about Alexander Kleb, a man who once left Arsenal to pursue his dreams of world stardom at Barcelona. Well, the Belarusian playmaker is now 38, and after the 18th transfer of his career, which included leaving Bate Borisov for a 6th time, he's slumming it with FC Eintracht Minsk Rayon out of Backars of Belarus. When this guy was signing for Arsenal, this club didn't even exist. Although, 7 consecutive promotions? Christ above. That's like seeing Bowers and Pitsy playing Premier League in 2027. Aston Villa, Milan Baros, Banik Ostrava. This is why you don't sign players off the back of international tournaments. I remember Milan Baros, despite warming the Liverpool bench for Emil Heskey, he top scored at Euro 2004 with the Czech Republic, and then found himself linked to Real Madrid. Christ above, lads, this is a tournament that Greece won. Had you emptied half of their squad over clubs like Real Madrid, virtual peasants compared to the high-paid Galacticos, I'm pretty sure the president of the club would have rather drunk insect repellent. Barros is now 38 and into his 4th spell with homeland club Banik Ostrava out the Backars of Czech Republic. But he already left that club 3 goddamn times. Why do you keep taking him back? Bournemouth, Miles Addison, Nuneaton, Borough. Good old Miles Addison. I remember this guy was highly rated at Derby County, linked with big money moves. Yeah, the move to Bournemouth in 2012 pretty much confirmed his descent. It's now 2020, he's 31 years of age and stuck in the 7th tier with Nuneaton Borough. Why is he smiling? This guy was promised riches in Champions League football, not spending his twilight years stuck in a glorified toilet bowl. Brighton, Robbie Savage, Stockport Town. Yeah, Robbie Savage is still going. At the age of 45. Brighton fans will remember this guy as a sweaty lump of fudge trudging out for 6 games back in 2008, and even then it looked like he should hang up the boots. 12 years later, he's still hanging around for Stockport County. Christ above, some of his teammates were born after his first marriage. I don't understand. Savage had hung up the boots, he'd retired, taken up a new profession, and then John Terry criticises his playing career, so he decides to prove him wrong by ending up at Stockport. That's like Mike Tyson taking offence at someone calling him the poster boy for diabetes and choosing to re-enter the ring to fight local gypsies from Carlisle. Actually, Tyson probably just tracked down whoever slagged him and bite off his ear. Burnley, Eric Jemba Jemba, FC Valor Balags. Eric Jemba Jemba, that man was the epitome of horrific footballer. Signed by Manchester United in 2003, this laughably bad player was inflicted upon the English game, passed around the benches of Aston Villa and Burnley. This fellow was once earmarked as Roy Keane's successor. What? So good they named him twice? I'd rather be forced to swallow the skull of an ostrich than watch this fella's first touch. Christ, a season ticket to watch Burnley last season should probably have come with a complimentary bucket of bleach for the eyes. Anyway, 38, he's still going for FC Valor Balags in Switzerland, a club so irrelevant they don't even have an entry page on Wikipedia. I know Bank of Ireland employees with a goddamn wiki page. Chelsea, Michael Essien, FC Sabail. Here we go, an African midfielder I do rate. This was another guy Sir Alex Ferguson tried to drag to Old Trafford to replace Roy Keane, and you know what? This would have been an actual dignified replacement. His career consists of European giants, largely stuffed in Jose Mourinho's coat pocket, and grinding with fitness staff. At 37, this lad is refusing to call it quits. He's out in Baku playing for FC Sabail in the Azerbaijan League. That's why he was at the Europa League final last May. Would be a bit weird if he sat on a 16-hour round trip to just watch his former club for no other reason. Would be like travelling halfway across the world to peer inside your ex-wife's house. Crystal Palace, EMMANUEL ADEBAYOR, Club Olimpia. You know what? I don't think EMMANUEL ADEBAYOR will ever retire. This is a man who loves money so much, he probably drinks a bowl of penny coins every morning. No doubt brushes his teeth with his goddamn wallet. His bathroom floor is probably coated with £50 notes. The bastard probably hasn't used toilet paper since 2006. I would imagine ever living in a world without a monthly paycheck probably terrifies this man to his very core, and would rather tear out his eyelashes than ever contemplate that thought. And so that's why he's playing for Club Olimpia out of the Backars of Paraguay at 36 years of age, partnering former Man City teammate Rocky Santa Cruz up front. These lads were passed in 2014. I can only imagine the state of that strike force in 2020. Everton, Joe, Nagoya Grampus. Speaking of former Man City centre forwards, remember Joe, an £80 million club record signing who very quickly looked like old news once the big money takeover went through. As a result, he spent a couple of loan spells at Everton. Fast forward 10 years, his halo hasn't dimmed. It's been chucked in a bin altogether. At the age of 33, this guy was supposed to be the next Ronaldo, not spending his twilight years in Japanese relegation battles at Nagoya Grampus. Leicester, Ian Hume, Pune City. Leicester fans will remember Ian Hume as that Canadian striker stuffed up front when they were relegated to League One in 2008. To be fair, this man is lucky to still be playing. Not even that, to still be alive after having his skull crushed like a Coke can. Clearly, this brush with death has made him cherish what playing days he has left, because he's literally accepted any job offer with a paycheck. He's currently 36 and playing for Pune City in India. So I would say to any of you players of Sunday League teams, send Hume an email. because he'll probably accept. Liverpool Brad Jones Al Nassr. Remember Brad Jones, that former Liverpool bench-warming goalkeeper limited to just 11 first-team games? Where some former Liverpool reserve goalies have transformed into being one of the best shot stoppers in world football, this former Shelbourne keeper is instead making a fat dollar in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr. For a no-bark nobody, Jones can now say he's played in 7 different leagues. Not bad. Man City, Nigel de Jong, Al Shahania. Former players in obscure leagues. Well, I think a former £10 million player was recently playing in the prison league, but no, Nigel de Jong, a man who himself should arguably be sent to jail for trying to decapitate human beings with a size 15s. Honestly, getting a tackle off him is like having a bowling ball chucked at your head. A man guilty for injuring my favourite player of all time, Hatem Ben Arfa, so for that, I hope de Jong spends the rest of his life standing on upturned plugs. Don't worry lads, if I ever get the chance to interview this man, I will spit in his mouth. Actually, that sounds like a different type of website. De Jong is 35 and no doubt being paid handsomely to hack down lads out the back arse of Qatar with Al Shahania. Man United, Shinji KAGAWA, Real Zaragoza. Okay, well I could touch on Bastian Schweinsteiger, or Nani making money in the MLS, or even Anders Lindegaard finally getting games back in Sweden with Helsingborg. But lads, what on earth is Shinji KAGAWA doing in the Spanish second tier? The lad is only 31, was one of the most highly rated midfielders in Europe, tying up big money deals to Old Trafford. Why is he now battling for promotion with Real Zaragoza? It honestly does not make any sense. Newcastle, Stephen Taylor, Wellington, Phoenix. Yeah, good old Stephen Taylor after over 20 years in the books of Newcastle. Fair play to the man, he's still going. Now 34 years of age and with his potential having been stuffed down the back of a Geordie treatment table, he's still plugging away as captain of Wellington Phoenix out of the back arse of New Zealand. Teammates include Gary Hooper and that guy who replaced Jamie Vardy at Fleetwood Town. Christ above. Norwich, Wes Hoolahan, Newcastle Jets. Well, I could have gone for Cameron Jerome, who at the age of 33 is for some reason on the books of Göztepe in the Turkish Super League. I'll be honest, I'm surprised anyone in Turkey knew who the hell he was. But no, step forward Wes Hoolahan. Most of you probably thought he'd retired. No, he's currently in the books of Newcastle Jets in the Aussie A-League. Considering the Irish contingent down there, that man is probably a national god. And rightly so. Sheffield United, Matthew Kilgallen, Hyderabad. I'll be honest lads, I'd forgotten this lad even existed. This guy was once a highly rated English defender at Sheffield United during the mid to late 2000s. And then following 3 years of Sunderland, the hype dried up. Well, the former Leeds defender is still togging out at the age of 36 in the Indian League for something called Hyderabad. It's like if you cross Walter White's alter ego with the lack of Pro Evolution naming rights. Southampton, Stephen Corker, ALESSANDRO. Considering Stephen Corker was involved in a 6-0 home defeat for Southampton, this club would probably like to forget the name Stephen Corker ever existed. Well, after a bizarre career that's included goal-scoring England debuts, spells in every corner of Britain, he's now out in Turkey with ALESSANDRO. What a strange collection of misfits. Tottenham, Vincent Janssen, CF Monterrey. Well, Pascal Chibanda was recently playing alongside local carpenters for Ashton Town, but no, Vincent Janssen. 4 years ago, this guy cost Spurs 17 million quid. Now he's struggling to score in Mexico for CF Monterrey. This fellow was supposed to be the next Klaus-Jan Huntelaar, a Dutch goal scorer, the talk of Europe. He's now 25 years old, at the peak of his powers, and has just 5 league goals in 20 goddamn games. André Pierre Guignac is 34 years of age and eats goals for breakfast in that league. Janssen, come on. Watford, Mike Williamson, Gateshead. Mike Williamson is a perfect example of how infectious the city of Newcastle really is. This guy, following brief spells of Watford and Portsmouth, he lasted 6 years at St James's Park, playing nearly 200 games. Sure, fans complained about him nearly every goddamn week, but he must have loved the area because at 36 years of age, he's player coach across the bridge at Gateshead. I also play for a team in Gateshead. We're terrible. West Ham, Alessandro Diamanti, Western United. Alessandro Diamanti has spent his career living out of a suitcase. 16 moves, including one brief 28-game spell at West Ham in 2010. Now at the age of 36, this Italian playmaker is captaining Western United Football Club in the A-League. Wolves, J. BOTHROYD, Hokkaido, Consadole, Sapporo. J. BOTHROYD's career is strange. When he was being handed England debuts just 2 years after quitting Wolves in 2008, did I think he was destined for goddamn Japan? Not a hope in hell. But yeah, he's a 10-goal a season striker out the back arse of the J1 League with Hokkaido, Consadole, Sapporo. Something that sounds like it was made by goddamn Nintendo. Anyway, that's the end of it lads. Let me know, were there any footballers I missed off the list? What players still playing in obscure areas do you know? Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.